The Dalvin Cook to the New York Jets rumors are heating up. Let's talk about it. What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Want to make sure that you follow along on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. Also, don't forget new episodes of Just Jets drop every single Wednesday. New episode comes out tomorrow. So this week, there's been some fun Dalvin Cook to the New York Jets rumors, and we got a little bit more info on that yesterday, where that same source was saying Minnesota is still trying to trade Dalvin Cook, but he's agreed to an approximately $11 million deal with the Jets, just waiting on being let go by Minnesota before dipping the feather in ink. It's about as done of a deal as anything. I don't know about you guys, but this would still be a little bit of a surprise for me. Let's just go through and talk about Dalvin Cook, though. He's a four-time Pro Bowler the last 4 years in a row. He has made the Pro Bowl this past year, 1,173 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns, and 295 receiving yards to go on top of that. He is a very productive back. He has been for a long time in this league. The thing is, he makes a lot of money, so Minnesota is trying to cut him and move on from him. And this is kind of one of those move on before it gets really bad scenarios. He's going to be 28 this year. He took a little bit of a step back last year, still a productive year nonetheless. He was still really good. A Pro Bowl season. Wasn't that like 1,500 yard season that he had a few years ago. But as we unfortunately know, running backs don't last very long in this league. So they are looking to get out of that before he turns 28. The New York Jets may be looking to add a veteran. Names that they've been linked to: Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette, guys like that. Veterans who are more of the bruising, short yardage style of running backs who've had experience in the league for a while they've been connected to. Now, that's just kind of loose connections. It's not like, anyone on the Jets is coming out and saying like, oh, they're interested. It's more of speculation saying this could be a good fit for somebody, but I think it's dependent on a few factors here if they are really interested or not in adding another running back. Number one, and most importantly, is Breece Hall's health. If he is truly ready to go for week one, do they want to add another back? And, someone at the price point that you were just talking about for Dalvin Cook, unless that's very incentive laced, that's a high price point for another running back to go and be paired with Breece. But if Breece Hall isn't necessarily ready to come back and be his dominant self right away, maybe you do have interest in adding a veteran. Again, I don't know if it's Dalvin, someone at that price point, but maybe you do want to add another veteran in here to help that running back room when you are trying to ease Breece back into it. Because again, even if Breece is, healthy and active in week one, it's not like you're giving him 20 carries, right off Jump Street from week one. He's probably going to be eased into it. And my guess would be he starts to look like his old self from last year in around October. But the first few weeks of the year, I think they bring him on a little bit slowly. It also goes to how much do you believe, or how much do the Jets believe in Michael Carter and Bam Knight? Michael Carter had a really bad second year, a really bad sophomore season. I thought he looked pretty good as a rookie. The thing is, it really dependent on what your take is on Michael Carter. Me personally, I think he's a bounce back candidate, and I think he would be much improved behind a better offensive line. Same thing with Bam Knight. Bam started out really hot last year, had a really productive first few games, then fell off a cliff down the stretch. I think part of it, not the entire thing, but I do think part of it had to do with how weak the offensive line was down the stretch last year. They were just super, super banged up and really ineffective offense, and they had really bad quarterback play, so the opponents were stacking the box against them. It wasn't really an opportune time for them to take advantage of their running attack. So while, yes, Michael Carter was bad last year, and Bam Knight definitely took a step back down the stretch, I'm not out on either of those guys. I think they could be, productive role players on this team. And that's not to mention that you also just drafted a running back in Izzy Abanikanda, someone who I think is really good value and adds some explosiveness to this running back room. I think they're going to be able to utilize him a lot as well. And unless they're moving on from one of those guys, right? Like if one of those guys is getting cut, I don't think it's going to be Izzy. So more than likely Michael Carter or Bam Knight. Again, this is just personal preference. I wouldn't do that. I would be looking to spend that money somewhere else. I am okay with the Jets running back room. I think Brees is going to be healthy enough early on in the year, and they'll be able to get by with the rotation of the three, Michael Carter, Bam Knight, and Izzy Abanikanda. And I would be looking to, allocate some of that money elsewhere. Injuries come up during the offseason. In training camp, we've seen it the last few years. Unfortunately, you lost Mekhi Becton last year to an injury for the season in training camp, and you never know who's going to be, a late cut. So running back is really not the position that I would be focusing on or adding another piece at. Again, I'm kind of curious to see if you want to bring back Quan Alexander. I think that would be much more impactful for the Jets in 2023 than adding another running back. Or who knows, maybe a safety hits the market and you could look to bring in a true free safety. That'd be something of interest to me as well. I really don't think it's a necessity, but I want to hear from you. What do you think of these rumors? Sound off below. I am Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you are new. I'll catch you next time.